Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's happy edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And it's happy because we have Renee and Anthony with us today, channeling Mary Magdalene, Yeshua, Ascended Masters, and just the conversations that we have with them, period. They're so activating and awakening. And to be in the opportunity also to receive channeled messages in the way that both Anthony and Renee together transmit it. It's quite profound. And I want to get into some deep questions, not only about the Magdalene, but also about what's coming through the energy lines right now. And I'm sure that you all have your own personal questions or curiosity about some of these topics, because there is no doubt that we're in a huge shift. And it seems like we say that all the time, but I'm sure you all can feel the profundity of it. And what does that mean for you individually? What does that mean for the collective? Where is it all going? And most importantly, what's the opportunity that we can take action on in our awareness right now? And so with that, sit back, enjoy the show, and a little bit more about Renee and Anthony. So they're the Blue Soul Earth founders. They're modern mystics, channelers, and teachers and authors. They channel Mary Magdalene, Yeshua, and the Ascended Masters, as well as seraphim energies such as Metatron and Melchizedek. Oh my God, Melchizedek's been coming in so strong. I want to talk to you all about with Melchizedek as well. Um, their teachings focus on igniting human potential, balancing divine feminine and masculine energies, Gnostic wisdom, and heart-centered living. They offer Blue Soul Ignite and Magdalene Sisters membership programs, which y'all are going to benefit from on the special offer, and we'll get into that later, where they meet regularly for live channeling, interactive teachings, healing, and guidance on how best to live from the I am consciousness, moving beyond the triggers, which keep us trapped in the shadows of our perceptions. And it's with that, Anthony, Renee, welcome to today's call.
Hello.
We were muted.
Until you're not.
Well, thanks for having us, John. We love being on your show. It's always a fun treat, and we enjoy coming back every season. So it's good to see you and to meet all those who are joining here today.
Well, I want to get into some conversation with you all about the dragon energies that are flying around. They're very much, for me, connected to the Magdalene energies in different ways and what's igniting. There's so much from Melchizedek flowing through me in a collective that I'm connecting to, which is kind of blowing me away. And so to be in a cohesive field with the two of you that can hold a certain frequency and a vibrational match or acceleration into what those messages may be. And before we get into any of that, of course, anything and everything that Yeshua has to say, if he happens to come through today. But I want to start, I'm curious as to what you all, aside from your channeling, what are you all noticing personally? What are you all navigating as far as with a capacity or frequency that you're able to access now? Because it's one thing to be in channel mode, it's another thing to receive the frequency in an embodied state and then to create your life from that. And so curious how that's maybe changing or expanding for you.
I guess I'll get started for myself personally. For everyone out there viewing this and listening, we're all on our own unique spiritual paths. And the more that we continue to learn about ourselves, who we are in this reality, the more it's going to change. And it's going to keep taking us in different directions. Personally, for me, it's taking me in more of I'm discovering my Jewish roots. And the way I'm doing that is because the Ascended Masters, Yeshua and Miriam of Magdala,
they were Jewish.
They were Jewish.
So that's the connection. Yeah.
And they constantly tell Renee and myself about our Jewish connections. And as that continues for me, I start to find it in my own personal family, my Italian Jewish roots, and I'm finding it more and more. And it's something that I never thought I would ever discover, but it's happening. And of course, that's all because of the spiritual journey that I'm on with Renee at this time.
Well, with channeling,
especially with channeling,
We're
of
channeling
course.
Yeshua and Magdalene, and I think a big part of their message was, that they are correcting, if you like, a lot of the dogma that has come through for so long, right? Catholicism and everything else, right? And I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. But I think you were meaning more what's showing up on a frequency level, right, John, from that perspective?
I think it's both perspectives that I'd love to hear from you. Absolutely. First, because again, you all live and breathe and talk this on a continuous basis. So I understand the channeling aspect of it, but when you go back home, you've got to pay the rent, you're dealing with organizing events, you you have friends and lifestyles that you want to maintain and nurture. It's how's that showing up for you in your lives? Because it's again one thing for us in the audience to listen and have this channelings and get these attunements, which are amazing. But I'd love how you all can relate also to the people who are listening. It's like, hey, we're doing this too, and we're navigating this, and these are the different experiences that we're having as normal people, if you will.
Oh,
I mean, it's interesting because we've talked about this on the show before. We've talked about this at conferences. And it's coming up again, actually, and that's discernment. We're starting to see and sense that again. I think as we're starting to see a lot more people open up, there's excitement in the air, right? I mean, there's like people are having attunements. More people are having these Kundalini awakenings, and more people are waking up to spirit. And some of it's confusing, some of it's exciting. And some of it, like your point about the dragon energy, right? So that's come up in our circles, right? What's going on with dragons? I'm starting to feel, sense, and taste them. They're coming through my field. I'm channeling them or whatever. So I think a lot of that is coming forth right now from more and more people. We're sensing that for sure. So I feel like on many levels, there's been a new layer of discernment, would you not say, for us?
well, I think for us, for discernment, I mean, it's been a 9-year process of discernment. And we've channeled different beings that refer to themselves as dragon energies.
Yeah, we have.
But it's nothing that I will say it was just different.
Yeah,
Very different.
They're different frequencies, right? And so you have to tune into what you most resonate with and bring that energy through. However, bearing in mind that it's going to keep changing. It's going to keep changing until you have that aha moment, ba-bang, right? We went through that stage where we thought it was the angelic realm, which was strange for me as a non-religious person in every way. That was very strange for me, but Anthony had quite a connection. And I thought that was going to be our route, but it wasn't, right? It kept changing and changing and changing. And we talked about Metatron and Melchizedek earlier. They were big energies that we worked with for a long time around sacred geometry. And I think that whole path was to get us to the point of the divine masculine and divine feminine that we work with today. We have been doing new work since we last talked to you, relatively new anyway. We're doing these physical darshans now, and we're incorporating a lot of Yeshua's Hindu teachings, right? And so that Shiva Shakti blend, right? To, once you're in balance, you're connected to source, you're connected to the all that is, you're connected to the I am consciousness. So I think that's really what we've been working on more and more lately. It's less about the entities, less about the energies, and more about just getting to the place of I am consciousness in our daily lives. And those physical attunements that we're working with, whether you call it the Shiva Shakti, attunements and energy to open up. For us, it's more the Magdalene Yeshua energies, but that's been a big part of our work lately, is working with people to really blend those energies in their biofield, and then to work with them on that integration. So it's going a lot deeper, I would say. Do you want to add to that?
Well, I do want to say that I so greatly appreciate the conversation about discernment because the sermon's taken on a whole different energetic stance for me as well. It's really a replacement for places where we put meaning and fear into place of where we have an understanding of something. It doesn't have to be held in fear. It just is, and it's choosing which route we want to go. Obviously, we have free will, in what we're engaging with, but not because we're afraid of it. And it's, as you align and become aware of that discernment, you're naturally going to tip to a particular spectrum, as opposed to going down rabbit holes that are just maybe going to take you down repetitive patterns that you may not need to experience anymore.
Yeah.
So again, the conversation around discernment, I think, is really important. And again, it's a big differentiation between choosing in fear and choosing in knowing.
I wanted to mention you were speaking about what is it like everyday life. We're in it every single day. Every day the guides will come through. They're always here at dinner time. So, but what is it like? What's it like for me personally? Because I have to handle this, I handle my other profession. It's as a human being, I want everybody out there to know that being a channeler for me personally is a gift that's given to me by something higher than myself. It's not a gift that is easy, but it's a gift that you maintain. You have to,
and that you commit to.
you must commit to it, because if you don't, it just keeps coming back to you in a way that is saying, listen, this is who you are. It's not easy. I'll tell you that. The energies that come through are huge energies. And it takes many, many, many years of practice and refinement
and integration,
lying yourself down and just surrendering to it. But it can be quite challenging, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so we go slow with our peeps, we kind of, we're like integrate a little, build, feel what's coming to you, tune in. Is it feeling in alignment for you? Feeling, not, you talked about knowing, when you feel into it. Is it source? Is it, at the end of the day, is that what you're sensing and feeling? Because that's really what we want to be dealing with. We want to be dealing with the I am consciousness, the all that is, at a very high level. We want to be bringing in that pure light. Well, we go through this a lot,
But again, what's really important too is for everyone out there that when you start channeling, when you start feeling these energies coming through you, your higher self, source, of course you have to discern, but you also must be humble. You have to humble yourself to these energies, because they're huge, and you cannot believe yourself to be something greater than the energies that are coming through you.
That's a really good point.
Always humble yourself before source, before your higher self, because it truly is a gift that's been given to you.
It's funny, John, because we've talked about, some of the Hindu lineage that Yeshua studied under, and we've been learning some of those traditions and some of those techniques and best practices and all of that, and we're incorporating it into our own work. But in some traditions, right, there's still, to this day, there is that bowing down to the guru, or bowing down to the spiritual master, or the teacher. And it's interesting because we've been at quite a few things in the last 6 months, and our guides came through at one of them and said to us, you will never let any of your students or anybody that you work with bow down to us. We will bow down to them.
Yeah.
I love
And
that.
that was just very moving for me. It was very moving because it's, their message is always about we are you, you are us. We are all energy. We're not here to be elevated, right? I mean, yes, they're ascended masters that we work with, but we're all masters, everyone is a master inside of it. So that was really profound for me that they had come through at that moment and said, don't ever let anyone bow down to us. And it was
That's
it was
beautiful.
very moving. That was the piece about the humility that they talk about with
Mhm.
us all the time. So I love
So
that.
we mentioned the dragon again. The dragon energy is coming up a lot in conversation. In my sphere of influence lately, it seems to be connected a lot to the Magdalene and the feminine energy for some reason. Um, I'm curious if there's anything around that topic uh, that you may want to enlighten us about if it's been coming through for you in any form of communication.
Now, what is that? Dragon energy?
Coming through for us, not really. I mean,
Dragon energy that once came through for us.
yeah, we channeled it kind of early on in our development,
Yeah.
and it was really a way for, our guide said anyway, a way for us to learn all the rays of light, all the frequencies, all the shades. And so that when different energies come forth, we know what energy we're working with. But that was the main reason they said that we worked with the dragon energy, not so much.
I never got a sense that dragon energy was evil or malevolent in any way, but it appeared that they were very highlight beings of wisdom,
Yeah.
almost like teachers of sort.
Yeah.
It's been my experience. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my personal experience with dragons, with dragon energy.
Interesting. Okay. Well, good to ask, especially since I've got the channels here, right? And then also very strongly for me, and we're going to get into Q&A, y'all, with y'all as well. So if you want to ask your personal question, raise your hand and type your question into the chat box. And of course, we're going to go through the special offer in a little bit. Also, there's been a profound connection with me and several other channels that I've been talking to with the Melchizedek energy. Very strong. And Yeshua and Mary, yes. But for me, over the last few months, it's Melchizedek energy and I'll call it almost like an etheric type of initiation into maybe being open to receiving certain type of communication, at least that I'm open to, or my interpretation of that. And curious what your experience has been with the Melchizedek as well.
We don't work with the Melchizedek energy regularly, right? It's not like our main guides, but as you know, or maybe you don't remember this, we led a few courses on the Melchizedek and Metatron and Seraphim energies a while back, a few times, right? We went through a few different cycles with it. And for us, so it's interesting, right? Because we give these beings names, and for them, they're just frequencies or rays of frequencies. So for them, it's not really it feels more galactic to us. This is just a personal feeling that it feels more galactic. And by that, I mean, because we're, everything's galactic in a way, but by that, I mean, when our guides work with us, how do I put this in a way that makes sense to everybody? Because everybody's getting different kinds of information from different teachers. So we hear things about biofield activations, right, in our field, and we also hear things about attunements and in your DNA, right, that junk DNA that kind of exists in our field. So we hear about that. Our guides say that for them, they work through both our DNA, but they work through our chakras, right, and our field, our biofield. That's how they do attunements. There's other galactic energies that we work with that say, right, we don't fully understand this, but say they only work with our DNA. Now, the Melchizedek and Metatron energies seem to be, at least in our workings with them, have to do with sacred geometry and codes.
Hmm.
So I always say to our guides, why don't we talk about codes all the time? Like, a lot of the other spiritual teachers do, or some of the spiritual teachers do, obviously not all of them, but our guides will say, well, you don't work in that, not lineage. It's not really a lineage. Do you want to kind of elaborate on this? They're probably talking to you a little bit too, right? I can feel it. I can feel they're half in and half out. But it's like it's activating codes. It's all the same thing. It depends on what you're tapping into. So the Melchizedek energy will tell us often that it works with engineers in the tech industry.
Hmm.
Kind of makes sense that it would be coming to you. It makes sense that it came to us initially. So they'll work through their energies because they're dealing with codes, and that's how they activate through you. It's just a different way to wake you up.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's really making any sense. Do you want to kind of expand on that? Because you're getting something.
I'm just kind of waiting. I'm just sitting here waiting patiently.
Divine masculine and feminine.
Again, as the channeler, I've channeled the beings. They're very, very, very high light beings. And so when you start to channel these beings, the energy is very strong. Take it little by little. They are referred to us as seraphim beings, which are very close to source energy.
And close to angelic realm.
Yes, they're angelic like
yeah.
energies. So they're very kind, they're very benevolent, but they're highly active, very strong energy fields with these beings. So
They
just
see-
be careful.
They seem to have very direct type of, but they're very gentle in their approach of it and only giving as much as like ready to receive. And even if I want more, it's sometimes like, not yet, not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And letting it land, which is beautiful.
Oh yeah, very direct. I mean,
Mhm.
they don't make good dinner guests. It's
Yeah, they're very
they're
direct.
very
beings.
like, you guys are kind of boring, right?
I never get a sense of like lots of character or lots of emotional content with these beings.
Yeah. And when they do come through, it's when we're working physically a lot with one-on-one, and they'll be doing some activations in someone's field, and I'll say, why are you here? Is he one of you? And
Mm.
they'll say, yes, he's the seraphim energy. So let us do our work. It's like, okay, bugger off.
That's funny. That's funny. So you talked about attunements and people receiving attunements from their work with you. And I'll be presumptuous and assume that attunements happening on live calls, on Zoom, on phone calls, live in person, that it's the transmission goes beyond just being in physical, and it can occur in multiple channels where presences, I'll call it, in different ways. What happens for people during those attunements? And I know it can vary in different ways, but I'd love it if we get a little more perspective for people listening, like what's happening. We can say, okay, they're getting other frequencies and they're elevating into something, but what do we do with that?
Yeah, it's a really great question. And even one of your callers were talking about, how do I, whatever, get comfortable channeling messages out to people, which is kind of related to this, right? Because as you have these attunements and you're in the field, it's really about being in the field. We're all in the field right now, right? We're all in this field. So when those activations are happening, you're opening up, and those abilities to channel are expanding. That's what's happening.
But what's really happening?
But you need to trust it. You need to
Yeah.
trust it. Go on.
The question is, what's really happening to us as human beings
Right.
when we're getting these attunements? I think that's what people want to know. Why do our bodies shake? Why do our heads shake? Why do we start shaking? What is going on? I don't know. I have to be honest with everyone. I don't know exactly what is going on, but I do know this. As a soul, you are literally becoming closer to who you are
Yeah. At a soul level.
at a soul level.
You're getting closer to your higher
It's
self.
like being excited. It's like your cells are lighting up. They're being energized.
Well, they're being activated,
Activated.
ignited. So I would say in that order, activated, ignited, and then expanded and lit up.
And what's going on with our auric field? The same exact thing. And so here on the physical level, we're shaking, we're moving because something is occurring. But to say exactly that I know exactly what's going on, I don't. But you have to have faith. And
I
you
mean,
must
we
trust.
know what they tell us.
We know what
right?
they tell us.
And how it's expanding our field wider and wider and wider so that we can tap into everything.
Think about being here, and then as you expand,
Yeah.
as your soul expands into what it really is, it's just keeps expanding and expanding, and you just keep getting more and more energized.
And the
So
upside,
take it slow.
take it slow. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously the upside of that, if you do it carefully in the right field with the right people, and I mention that because, I'm just really a big believer in a discernment. We're seeing.
Oh, setting the field is so important. The setting, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, we're starting to see things where people are not in good fields. And so I'm going to keep throwing that discernment out there. Make sure you're in that field of love and light as you're expanding. And as that's happening, right? And, all of our scientists and biologists, they talk about this, right? That if your energy field is wider and stronger, you are shielding yourself away from disease. So that's the other big piece of it. The practical piece of it is that as we expand and stay into this field, we become more energized and our immune systems are stronger.
Well, what's happening so beautifully also as so many of y'all on this call have been immersed in these type of communities in different ways, and listening, and then maybe doing your own practices and following other guides along the journey. But that net's been growing of community and people who are having these conversations or exploring in these ways. And because that net is growing, the field is stabilizing for us to be able to hold it even more strongly than we could before because of that wider net. What happens when we hold the field and attune to it in that way, again, have a cohesive frequency that we can begin to harmonize with, because we can see it more clearly than we did before. And there's a gravitational pull from the soul. It has to be that wants to head towards it. From that, we're finding that limiting beliefs that we've held, environmental conditioning, the way that we've structured scarcity and why we've gone to war so that we can have something so we don't lose something, that we're learning that we can't deny who we really are more and more as we hold this field.
Yeah.
And again, the byproduct of that disease going away, scarcity, not being in our field of consciousness in the way that it's lived before, fear, not running the show, discernment, yes, comes alive.
Too, John, what we focus on a daily basis, that's the key.
Yeah.
That's
and then
the dimensional shift right there.
What we focus on, and that creative field also is expanded as we get into these energies where there is a balancing that is occurring, where we're not on one side of the spectrum or the other of how we've identified. And it's so vital in the energies that you both are bringing in, and the balancing between the feminine and the masculine. And there's something that activates on a whole nother layer when that union or that experience takes place. And so the divine feminine and masculine, that merging, why is this really why you all are focused and really like bursting in conversation with what's available through the alchemy that exists there?
Yeah, beautiful. Love that word, alchemy, because that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what's happening.
Was that a question?
Yeah, in a way.
It was, yeah.
I didn't hear.
Well, it's addressing, the masculine and feminine balance that we're working with. Why is, I guess, so pivotal, and why is it emerging so much for us?
Why is it emerging?
Yeah. I mean, and our guides will constantly remind us that they
Mhm.
come through the feminine first, which of course always makes me feel good when they say that. But because he's the full embodied channel, right? He's visibly altered in that process. And so, for me, it's like they're constantly reminding both of us that that balance needs to happen for. Do you want to talk about that really for it's almost like a balance and check. They'll say that we're like a check and balance. They literally use that language.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
first of all, I think it's coming through. I think it's always been coming through
Yeah.
I agree.
for a long, long, long time, the balancing of divine feminine and masculine. But what
Mhm.
makes it different now is that our technology, our science is going at light speed. As
Mhm.
I will always say, what's occurring here now on your show is occurring everywhere in our world.
Yeah.
And everybody now is becoming open to it.
Huh.
We're not afraid anymore.
We're not afraid of challenging traditional gender roles. Even if we're confused as we go through this transition, there's a breakdown of that so that we
Yeah.
don't have to be stuck in this archaic, toxic, masculine and feminine energy that really didn't empower either side.
I mean, now we have people asking us which I mean, for me, it's amazing. Which pronoun do you go by?
Yeah,
And
not in our community. It doesn't really happen in our membership program so much, but when we are on other podcasts and other programs, there's always, when you're sharing information or whatever, it's like,
Mhm.
what pronoun do you go by? So, Magdalene and Yeshua will tell us, they're not really a he or a she anyway. They're simply energies that manifested themselves in the physical realm on this earth realm over 2000 years ago as masculine and feminine.
but when you are able to allow yourself to balance these energies, whether you're male or female, the more you balance them, and only you can find that way. No one else is going to do it for you. When you balance these energies, you truly become your higher self, the authentic self, and you become one again.
The fear goes away, the purpose, you step into your purpose because you no longer fear it. There's clarity about what you need to do. I'm seeing lots of questions coming in about purpose and clarity and, how can I serve? And, it's interesting. I can't remember who I heard this from, but it just kind of, it resonates with our teachings too, is that, there's affirmations, which kind of throw something into the field about what you want to do or who you want to become. But when you declare it, right, there's a declaration to the universe, to your higher self, that you become merged together. There's like a merging that happens. And I think that's the key. It's surrendering into that merging and just knowing it. You don't need to figure out what your purpose is. That's in the head, right? And spirit only works through the heart, through our emotions. So if you're sitting there, and we see it all the time in our community when we work with people, there's a looking up. Like, it's funny because when Anthony does it, it's because the guides are talking to him. But when we're in our physical place, right, when we're looking up, we're going to our head, we're thinking about things. And when you're feeling into something, you're just like, you're relaxing into being, you're going to your heart place, to your emotional place. And then you don't have to think at all anymore. You just know, right? You're in your zone, you're in your place. And then you just have the clarity and you know what you need to do. And so to the person's question about the channeling, you begin to trust more. Because as the information is coming in, I don't know how many times we hear from people who are newly channeling, well, I didn't trust it, or how do I know that that was accurate? Well, trust it, sit with it, feel into it, right? Feel into it. What colors do you get? What emotions are coming up for you? And then you're
Trust your higher self.
you're
That
not
everything
asking
will be
questions.
okay.
So to the person who was asking about the channel, because we do a lot of that work, so that's big
Yeah.
for us to help people. You trust in it and you practice, right?
Hmm.
You practice. You know, hey, 3 people, come on, let's go, let's do this. They're going to feel into it, and you practice.
I have an example of something like that. And this is for everybody. If you're laying down and you slowly start to fall asleep, you go into this half
Lucid dream.
and you get these beings coming to you and you say to them, who are you and what do you want?
He does this all the time.
And so they come to me, and if they come to you, they'll say, well, we just want to integrate you. We want to help you. I'm like, okay, go
Because
ahead.
I was out for drinks with a girlfriend the other night.
Do
and
what you need to do.
sometimes when I'm not around, like new beings will come and try to, you know, they'll capitalize on private Anthony time. And I come back and he's on the floor and he's, you know, all around. I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, they're here doing
But
some work on
The
me.
thing I wanted to stress is that be discerning, but also have faith that your higher self
Yeah.
is sending you the right energies that you need at the particular time.
Mhm. That's
Trust with
wonderful.
your heart.
Yeah.
That's right, with your heart. Yeah. So
An-
it's a
Anthony-
wild ride over here, John.
Well, it is wild, because I feel you half in and half and half here with us, Anthony. It's like, how do you hold that? And it's like, it just feels like it's 1 degree over. It's like you're gonna be right in.
Yes, it's one step away from, you know,
The full integration.
sometimes I can't control it, especially during rituals that are going on. If I go to synagogue and there's a ritual going on, which there always is,
Or a pagan ceremony,
Pagan,
or
whatever it
a
is.
shamanic circle, whatever we're
they
going
come
to.
through.
Yeah.
So I'm always kind of half in and half out. It's a very strange feeling.
When he's half in and half out, it's like the guides are validating maybe something that someone
Yeah.
is saying, or sending him in a certain direction, or even
Hmm.
giving more psychic information rather than channeled. And then of course, when he's full embodied, you know, it's a totally different story.
Well, again, as we get into this balancing of the feminine and the masculine, and again, and then the interactive workshops that you do with Miriam and Yeshua, what kind of transmissions come through for people who are participating? Is it are you finding it's more attunement? Is it like homework exercises to be aware of and to practice with? Is it just presence and again receiving? You know, when people integrate more with you or go in deeper with you, what would be some of those experiences that they might receive?
First of all, I think it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
definitely presence.
Yeah.
When you are present with this particular energy and you're allowing your heart to open up, you
They're
start feeling something.
they're coming into your field.
There are always teachings that are going to allow you to open up even further. So the teachings also allow you to open up.
Which is interesting, right? Because it's similar to the Buddha, you know, have your teacher, have your practice, right? Have your study. And then the third pillar is the internal work, which is the meditation. Meditation, being silent, connecting to nature. So a lot of what we teach is really integrating all of that. Interesting enough.
Yeah, the practice is so important, and
Yeah.
they'll constantly stress how important it is to practice every single morning, day, and night. That you are always in the resonance field of who you are in this lifetime. It's a practice.
It is a practice. You have to commit to whatever that is
Yeah.
for you, and that's going to be different. You know, you've been to our house. You haven't been here, I don't think, but so you know we've got altars, right? But I never had an altar in my office because we have altars everywhere else. And so I created a little altar, and the guides got all excited, you know, that I did that. And they're like, finally something, you know, specific for you, because it's different for all of us. You know, if you go into Anthony's office, it's surrounded by angels. I mean, there's angels everywhere. Yeshua is everywhere. You know, in my office, it's like Isis, Gaia, Mary Magdalene. It's very different energies.
Hmm. Is
So,
someone coming through more prevalently for you all recently? Is Miriam coming through more than Yeshua?
oh, that's a good question. They're both coming through a lot. The Ascended Masters come through a lot. When we do workshops and when we do physical events, because we're such open portals and we've worked with so many energies, anything can come through. So when we
Hmm.
were in Mount Shasta, we did have a lot of galactic energies come through for our retreat because it's Mount Shasta.
Yeah.
Now, you know, if we were in Tuscany, it would be a different story. So location, I mean, even though there's no time and space and, you know, energy works right in this Zoom room, right? Because of that, it's still strong when we're on sacred land. And so when we were at Mount Shasta, things were, you know, people were starting to speak light language for the first time. People were shaking, you know, across the floor. I mean, there was a lot of stuff happening at our retreat. I think it was partially because half the group was pretty advanced and because it was Mount Shasta and our energy was strong. So there's a lot going on there.
I think for me personally, as a channeler, it's always Yeshua that comes through, Miriam of Magdala. And again, the ascended masters who will always say we're really not the ascended masters. What they're doing is they're revealing to me personally through my research of who they actually are. Because they don't say exactly who they are. They'll give us little hints and they'll joke. They'll say, we're just a bunch of old Jewish men. But who are these old Jewish men? So I slowly start to discover that these beings, they're not just old Jewish men. They were called the Perushim.
The Pharisees.
They are Pharisees that, of course, according to the Catholicism.
There are Essenes too. I mean, I'll bring them in because we work.
Some are Essenes, but a lot of them are the people, the beings that are now referred to as rabbis that gave the oral law according to God. That's kind of who they are. And they make that known to me personally through the research that I keep doing. And then Yeshua becomes even stronger. Miriam becomes even stronger. I start to open up even stronger as a channeler because of this.
Yeah, and so because of what is coming through and that's so dominant, a lot of our core stuff really weaves in Kabbalah. Actually, Yeshua was very Kabbalistic. You know, people may not realize that. Pagan. There's a reason we still do our pagan rituals. Judaic, of course, right? From Yeshua and Magdalene. The Hindu traditions of so that's getting woven in.
Right.
And you know, and then of course there's galactic stuff that, you know, is kind of beyond our linear understanding, but we seem to be doing it on autopilot once they get us in the field. And that's kind of what you're talking about with these activations. There's something I cut out of our retreat video because I thought it might freak people out. But Anthony's like, he's kind of going nuts. You remember over Jesse's head, you were kind of going a little nuts that one day. And like, if anyone were to see what happened at that sacred site visit, you know, it looks weird. I mean, we were all like happy as campers because the energy was so strong and so much was happening, but we don't all understand it, right? We don't exactly know what the energy is doing except for what we see in their physical form that's coming forth, which is things like light language and the ability to channel.
There are a lot of channelers who might say that they don't remember what they said or what they did, but I do. That's either good or it's not good. It depends on what you want. But because I'm so integrated in who these beings are, I know exactly what I'm doing and what they're doing with me in conjunction. So I do remember all of these things that go on. I don't know if I want to sometimes, but
I don't know if that answered your question. I mean, it's still really Yeshua and Magdalene as the prime for us.
Yeah, they are our prime.
And then because we've worked with so many, if whoever's in the room, the proverbial,
Soul will call through something that
Yeah.
needs to be opened up through. It could be galactic, it could be pagan, it could be
yeah,
ancestral, it could be anything.
yeah.
Mhm. That's
I
beautiful.
really resonate with indigenous energy too. I always have.
Mm. There's a lot of that was open for Mount Shasta when I was there a couple of weeks after y'all were there also. Very much of those cosmic and galactics, very much of the, I'll call that great white brotherhood type of energy, very strong with the ascended masters, and it's just powerful. We're in that frequency. I want to get into some live Q&A in a little bit. There's some people have their hands raised.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Um,
questions here. It'd be great to get some of these questions.
a
So
lot of questions that are coming in. I want to go through your special offer as well. April, put the link for the special offer in the chat box. And as y'all are navigating that, and I'm promoting some of y'all as a panelist, there's one thing I want to clarify, and I'd love both of your perspectives on it, because there's so many people in communities like, I want to learn how to channel, I want to learn how to connect, I want to know how to transmit. And for me, a lot of that interpretation comes from this very innocent place of, God, I just want to be in an intimate relationship with that energy.
mm,
And not necessarily if everybody wants to be the channel out on a platform speaking to thousands of people all at once or millions of people, like some of the channels. Um, and again, Anthony, like you said, you receive it with a lot of humility and you understand the gift that it is, but it's also the challenge of the transmission and what comes through. What would you say for a lot of people that says, God, I wish I can channel like Anthony, or I wish I can tune in like Renee can? And it's, I get that there's the picture of what it looks like. There's what it actually is, and perhaps really what we're requesting from that source in the relationship that we're hoping to really have.
Let me take this one.
yeah, I
I
know.
thought so, yeah.
Don't wish that you can channel. It's That's not the way to go. I have to say this personally, I don't recommend it to the average individual. I don't recommend it to anybody. It takes a huge toll on your body, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, everything. And it can be quite challenging. But what you can do, and this is the most important thing, is to be in service to others. When you are in service to others, then it starts happening automatically. Then if you are meant to channel in a specific way, it's going to happen. But you don't have to wish or want or desire it.
Because that's from the ego. When you think
Right.
about it, that's truly from the ego. And a lot of times that's what's blocking the pure energies of coming in. You know, in the early days when we had students and we were working with them to open up and channel, you know, I mean, there were funny moments too. Like, I want to channel this being in the painting. I want to channel, you know, my grandmother, whatever. There were funny moments in these early days, dragons, right? But, you know, at the end of the day, that's still the ego wanting to be associated with a new identity. Like, I'm Palladian, you know, and that's my new identity. Well, you know, I think that was beautiful, sweetie. I think that was perfectly said. Just be of service.
Being a channel
Yeah.
is not going to make you rich. It's not going to make you famous. It's not going to bring these things to you.
Well,
I don't want to say that, because you don't want to become a channel and say, well, I'm going to be famous, or I'm going to become rich, and I'm going to be this and
I'm going to
that.
be a Palladian
Don't do that.
knight, or I'm going to be, you know, I'm the Arcturian chief of whatever. Yeah, it's like then you're in another set of identity, just in a different realm, right?
Become your unique person, and be in service to others and help others all the time.
Yeah.
And that's the most fulfilling thing you can do as a human being.
Yeah, and then the channeling will just happen.
If that's what's meant to happen.
If that's what's meant to happen, the energy that's supposed to come through to assist you in that service, because you're opening up to assist humanity, it's going to come through.
Well, some people say, well, I don't know how to be of service unless I can channel this information, or how do I be of service? And it's like, how do I step into that role? It's it's a question that comes up over and over again on all our calls.
What makes you feel happy? What's in your heart?
Joyous,
Thank you.
joyous.
Yeah, what makes you feel really good about you and what you're doing for others? It's what's in your heart. It's what makes you
Yeah.
feel really good about you.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be anything grandiose. It just has to be something of love.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
all it is.
I'm often kind of, I think back, and this was way before channeling and all of that, that Richard Dreyfuss movie, the one where he's the school teacher. I just love that because
Oh yeah, Mr. Opus, Holland's
Mr.
Mr. Holland's Opus, yeah.
Holland, right? I mean, he feels like he's not being of service. He's supposed to be writing this grand, production, and that's going to be his life's work, and that's going to contribute to the big community. And yet, he helped all these students along the way, one at a time, and look at the impact, right? And so, that's why our guides always say one soul at a time, because you open and unlock one soul and it has a ripple effect on dozens of others, which has a ripple effect on, and it just keeps going from there. So yeah, that's really the key, sweetie. You're so spot on. I love you so much. You're just
He's got that sexy Jesus thing going on.
Ah,
I put my hair down because she wants me to put it
I
down.
love it down.
Usually
That's
when I
great.
have it down, I'll have it
At
back
night,
and-
I always put it down if we're watching a movie or something. I want to be able to run my fingers through the hair.
Nice, nice. Hey, let's dive into some Q&A, and then we'll go to package and then we'll go back to Q&A. So again, if y'all want to raise your hand to ask questions, I'll promote y'all a panelist. We'll continue, and of course the questions on the chat box. But Catherine, let's start with you. Let's get you to unmute. And what is your question for Renee and or Anthony?
Oh my goodness. Hello, beautiful souls. So wonderful to be here with you today. Renee and Anthony, I just wanted to be in your energy today and the energy that you bring with you. And I recently published a book where I have channeled messages from Source. And I actually, and some from Yeshua as well. And I kind of had some constriction after I published the book. And now I'm sort of kind of coming back. And I think you sort of have addressed this a little bit. But I'm wondering what can I do to sort of, I think what I'm doing is I'm actually embracing the gift more and more. And just wondering if you could give me any any feedback about that. Or I feel like has been some constriction and probably some fear about stepping into
That's what it
my
is.
power.
Yeah, that's what it is. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So you want to know what you should do to, I understand that perfectly. Take your time. Just take your time. Don't rush it. You don't have to.
But trust
Okay.
it.
Trust
Don't
it.
rush it, but trust
But
it.
trust it. Let go of the
Okay.
takes practice.
Yeah.
Takes practice.
It'll take time.
Yes.
Take time to get comfortable, more comfortable.
Yeah.
Or I should say, take time being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Because that discomfort is the fear that you're feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you need
Yeah.
to move through it. You don't want to
But
dart around
stay
it.
on your path.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Just stay on it. So
Okay. Thank you.
John, do you want
Thank
us
you.
to bring through Yeshua? Because I don't know how much time I just want to make sure.
Absolutely, that'd be wonderful. But
I'll bring it through right now. Always who will come through are I believe the ascended masters. And then
I think-
Yeshua, and then perhaps Magdalene will come through.
What do you mean, perhaps?
I never know. I wish I could know
Ladies
exactly.
out there, are we going
I
to have
know.
the Magdalene come through? Of course, we're going to have the Magdalene come through. She's talking to me saying, what do you mean, perhaps?
She's coming through, it seems like. But before we go into the channel, I want to ask you, and Catherine, this relates to you, and I ask myself the question all the time. Well, Renee, Anthony, what's your why that you do this?
My why?
Yeah, each of your whys.
Oh, why do I do this?
You're,
Why?
you're sounding like
That's-
Tony. You're sounding
that's a
like
good
Tony
one.
Robbins. That's what he usually. What's your
Yeah.
why?
My why is I do it because I want to be in service to others. I want to be my God self, my goddess self. It feels so good to know thyself, know thy God through this form. That's why I do it. And also because Renee makes me too.
Thank God for that feminine, right?
If it weren't for Renee, I don't think I could ever do this without her. It would not happen without the divine feminine. I
Makes
just could
sense.
not do it. It wouldn't work. But yes, know the why you're doing it and why you want to do it.
Yeah. Renee, what's your why?
I would say it's very similar. I think the thing that lights me up is obviously when the guides come through, something takes over my field too. And I just feel this incredible love beyond myself, way beyond myself, like for everything and everybody. I feel that connectedness. And I want to share that energy and that field with others because we've seen it have such a big difference in people's lives.
Yeah, it does.
To step away from the fear. So I think for us, for me anyway, it's that opening that we see with people and that they move out of pain. And it just brings me so much joy to see somebody move out of fear and move out of pain.
That's beautiful. I'd be curious what Magda and Jeshua's answer would be to that as well.
Oh, great question. Let's ask them.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd love, tough questions. I mean, in our membership program, it's hilarious because there are moments where I'll be like, what? And they'll answer things for the very first time in front of our group. And it's just sometimes funny.
I'm surprised I haven't popped through already.
I'm surprised. I felt them about to pop through earlier. It's like
I did too.
they're right there. Maybe if as Anthony's going into mode, we can go through the special offer. Would that be appropriate?
Yeah, we can do that. Are you able to you can connect? Well, he can connect.
Or if you're there already, then okay.
No, he can connect. We
go through the special offers.
So you'll
Most
connect.
Definitely. No, I don't know. I want to listen to it. It's awesome. We will.
Do you want to go through it now, John?
Yeah.
Let's go through the special offer now. I think that'd be great. Y'all click on the blue link in the chat box. It'll take you to the special offer page. And you'll be getting it. We've been in casual conversation, which has been so beautiful. And I love connecting with the two of you in this way because it's just so resonant and alive. And you're going to get Anthony and Ray in this and so much more. So again, y'all click on the link. Or you can open up a new browser, beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Anthony and Renee 32. If you're listening to the replay on the Vimeo call, you'll find the link in the comments box underneath the video. And Renee, you want to guide us through this amazing offer? I can't believe it's at this price. Thank you, by the way.
I'm trying to remember what we all offered.
Let me share the screen and we can.
So I
we
know
can go
that
through
we offered a workshop, a live workshop, actually, which we haven't done in a while. And we put a date on it because April had given us feedback that sometimes it's trickier for people to know to sign up for something if they don't have a date. Now, all that said, we're also open to changing the date that works for the most number of people. So I'll just throw that out there as well. We want to make it work for as many people as possible schedule wise. But so we threw a date on it this time. And that's a live workshop via Zoom where we'll go into the multidimensional soul and the you and do some activations for sure. We'll do some energy attunements and activations. And we'll bring through the guides, Yeshua, Magdalene. We'll do some balancing with the divine masculine and feminine. And then we'll do some teachings as well, some meditations, some teachings. And then, of course, for anybody who does miss that live event, there will be a recorded replay that you can go back and revisit it. And hi, guys, you're here. The guides are here. So that's number one. And we threw the day a little further out to allow a little more time for people to sign up. And then we have offered this before. And we just think it's the most powerful thing that we do is our online. Well, the most powerful thing we do are our retreats for sure. And our physical darshans for sure. Those are through the roof, but online anyway, where people from any time zone can join us is either our Blue Soul Ignite. Oops, it looks like it's the wrong artwork with the wrong membership, but either membership to Blue Soul Ignite or Magdalene Sisters. So
okay,
like it's just
or Blue Soul Ignite. There you go.
Blue Soul Ignite. So it looks like it's just the wrong artwork there, but so one program is, I would say, more led by Yeshua, which is Blue Soul Ignite. I guess that we just changed our format this year based on feedback from our members, actually. So we're doing a lot more interactive. There's breakout sessions. There's one-on-one work with people. So it's in a sacred container. Yeshua comes through. There's definitely healing. If healing needs to happen, we do it. And there's meditations that are channeled and teachings with Yeshua. Other energies do come through, like the Ascended Masters and even other energies in the Yeshua family, the so-called Holy Family come through. That's been a little different for us. So they've been coming through. And then Magdalene Sisters is for women only. And it's just a little different. We get together as women, we connect, we share, we do go through some topics too. And then Anthony will join us for the second part of it and bring through the Magdalene. And there's interactive work with her, the ability to ask questions to her, and work with her directly on stuff that you're going through. I think that's a little bit of the difference between Magdalene Sisters. If you're going through something that is a direct impact on us as women, what are you going through, right? And Magdalene will address that and work with you directly. I think that's the powerful part. Blue Soul Ignite, I think, is more teaching. So we go a little deeper for people who really want to go super, super deep into the teachings and that I am understanding, that I am consciousness understanding. That's more Blue Soul Ignite. Many people in our memberships are members of both, actually. But and then we do something called Blue Soul Summit, where we interview other visionaries as well. And so this is access to our season 5, which is now live. And so some of you know Lynn McTaggart. She's famous for The Field and The Power of 8. Cindy Dale, y'all know her for her work on chakras. And you probably don't know Chief Philip Scott. He's an Indigenous chief who's a dear friend of ours who's doing really important work. Swami is doing a lot of work around chakras, but also health. And then Isho, nobody knows about. We met this guy, and he's an Zen priest from Japan. He's just an amazing soul. Absolutely love him. The interview was done in Japan, actually. And then Sandra Ingerman, people are probably familiar with because she's very famous, right, for her shamanic work and her shamanic books. So that's who's in season 5, and it's a real hoot. So you have access to all of those. And
all those guys.
Yeah. And then I believe there's also 3 powerful meditations. They're new. So I don't think they would have been given in any other package. Hopefully not. I don't think so.
I think these are new for the show for sure.
Yeah, these are new for the show because we've done them recently. Living Your Soul's Calling meditation. They're about, 20 minutes long, roughly. And then this is Calling in Your Guides for all of you who were asking about working with your guides. This is specifically to call them in. And then the third one is about aligning our chakras and illuminating really more than aligning. I think we did do a meditation with you earlier that we gifted as part of a package for aligning. This is really activating and lighting them up.
Beautiful.
So that was a lot.
It's generous. It's $111 with a 2 payment option on that, and to be in the field and a cohesive frequency, to attune to that and acclimate and to be able to hold it steady because of the environment that we immerse ourselves in is that's where I believe the shifts truly happen.
Yeah.
And so this is wonderful that you all are offering this in this way. And I recommend all of y'all to take advantage of this 6 months membership, the live workshops, the meditations to attune, align, ignite. So beautiful. Again, y'all, the link for the special offer is in the chat box. If you're watching this on the replay in the Vimeo, the link is in the comments box. And y'all dive in. It'll be fun. With Anthony and Renee, it'll absolutely be fun. And I know profound as well. So again, Anthony, Renee, and guides, thank you all for bringing this to us and offering it here on BTO.
So Yeshua's here.
Hello.
I am. I am. I am who I am. Shalom Aleichem. Be at peace. Be of love. Don't be afraid. Know yourselves. Your God selves. Be of spirit. Be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. And do not worry. We are all here with you at this time. I will work through all of you. If you desire, only say the word. Focus your attention. Miriam and I will be with you. Source is here with you. Do not be afraid. Let go of your fear. It is good to see you again, Mr. Burgos.
It's wonderful to feel you again. Thank you.
Are there questions for me?
Are there questions for Yeshua? I think I did see some floating by earlier. There was one for...
Remember, all of you, that I am the soul that manifested as Yeshua over 2,000 of your earth years. But I am not Jesus incarnate. I am the soul that can come through all of you if you desire, in your own unique way, in service to others, in your writing, in your teachings, in your singing, in your pictures. Ask me, and I will assist you.
So Yeshua, why do you assist us is a question that I want to get to. Because is it so ingrained that we just are aware of it, but sometimes it's so blindly that we've even been taught to ask outside of ourselves. And so I'd love to receive the transmission of your why, if you'd be willing to give it.
Yes. Why do I assist you?
Yes.
I assist you because I am you as well. You have forgotten that you are of all love, and that you are all light, that you are of source. I assist you because you ask for it, because you desire it. I am here because I am you and you are me, and we are all one together. Remember that, John. Remember, all of you. I do it because of my heart desire. I do it because I love you infinitely. That is why I do it, to be in service to you as human beings.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we have Nikki on the video. Nikki, if you want to unmute yourself, we'd love to take your question.
Hi, Renee, Anthony, and John. Thank you.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Um, I have a question, and this is regarding my son. I did speak to you 2 years ago. He was in a car accident, and he's experiencing problems still. And I think we've seen improvement. He's not working right now. And he really wants to get back to work, get back to his life. I need guidance about this. He's at my house now. He's been here since August. There's some places to take him for more treatment. I think he's tired of doing these things, trying things and being disappointed. I think some things have helped somewhat. And this has been going on a while. And I'd like to know what our next steps should be. I'm at a loss.
1 second, please. I will allow the guides, the others, to come through. 1 second, please.
I do remember you.
We understand what you're asking. 1 second, please.
It's more the guides that will go into the Akashic records or the Akash.
We are the guides. We are here. Don't be afraid. Nikki, is that your name?
Yes.
Now, what you ask is a very difficult question, and I'm going to tell you why. You ask for you, or do you ask for him? These are the probabilities. In which second are you speaking? Now, at every single second in time, the soul is changing, but you wish to know a path. A path.
The probability at this time.
This is a very, very personal question that you're asking. You do understand that, don't you? Nikki.
I don't know. I'm not sure
Because we see head trauma. We see trauma.
Yes.
That is what we see.
That's right.
That is correct.
That's correct.
It takes years and years for the brain of a human being to heal itself, if it can be healed. There are wires and networks within the brain that can heal, but your son, unfortunately, will never be the same as he once was. Now, will he ever work again? Yes. Will he have a life of his own? Yes, but it will never be in the same way. This can be very difficult for you as a mother and for him as a human being. But we are here to tell you this. Don't give up. Continue to have faith. Continue to work hard, but don't ever give up. I know how difficult this is. We understand. But oftentimes when there is things done to the brain, there are other things that are occurring, spiritual things to come in. We hope that this helps.
Meaning that this was something the soul chose for opening.
All souls choose the human experience.
Yeah.
There is neither good nor bad. There only is. But you have to have the perspective and the outlook that this is done as a divine happening. And it is not easy from the perspective of a human being. But all actions, Nikki, are divine. Even
when I
your
talk, oh, go ahead.
To him now than ever before. Go ahead. We apologize.
No, I'm sorry. When we spoke 2 years ago, I I was told that he would be okay.
He is okay.
I mean,
He is okay.
fully
The
functioning.
perspective is different. What is okay? What is the norm?
Not suffering.
Suffering, Nikki. Suffering. We understand that. We know what suffering is as a human being. This is not easy. We apologize. Nikki, all will be okay. God is with you. Yeshua is with you. Do not fear. Do not be afraid.
Nikki, I want to elaborate. And Nikki, thank you for coming on, and blessings to you and your son. Blessings to you and your son. It's as you speak of the understanding that the soul chose this experience, and in essence, for us to let go of a good or a bad outcome and what our interpretation of that is. And yes, a lot of us can mentally begin to comprehend that and want to embody that place of faith that that is what's occurring. What is it that we can do to become more present or in alignment or in relationship with the truth of the soul's desire, and not having a preference one way or another, and judging it, and not just causing ourselves suffering because we're in that belief, but we emanate that suffering into others because others then try to hold us through that suffering as well. How can we attune more or better to the balance of the energy that you speak of the soul's desire?
Because on a linear perspective, right, what we think should be okay may not be what the soul is saying is
Right.
okay. So when the guides say it's okay, from a soul perspective, it's perfect.
Mhm.
Even though there's a perception, and I don't want you to take that the wrong way, but all suffering is really a perception, right? That perception of the suffering that we feel or that we experience in the human plane may not be the perception of the soul, even though it's hard for us to manage that in this linear life that we're living.
You are both correct in what you're saying, but it is still difficult for
Mhm.
human beings to perceive it this way. We can only tell you, Nikki, that everything will be okay, but you must perceive it that way.
Yeah.
But I was, yeah,
We
I'm
don't-
so confused because last time it was a different message.
The message is still the
The
same. Your son will be okay. You will be okay. You will grow closer as a result.
Blessings to you, Nikki. Maybe you want to reach out for more of a private session and go in, because obviously we can't continue going on like this here, unfortunately.
We understand.
It-
Thank you.
right. And so just sending you so much love, Nikki. And yes, it's like I, in your shoes, would have a very strong preference as well. And to come to terms with what it is, and hoping for a different outcome, and being hopeful by something that I received that I interpreted in a certain way. It's again, there's just know that there's so much love and energy sent to both you and your son right now.
Can I just ask one question? I mean,
Well, let's stop with that one question, sure, and then we're going to move on.
I mean,
Yeah.
just pray, believing that this is faith and he will be res- I- we, that's not an option here? To pray that he will be restored and have the faith in that? As the message is in the New Testament? I thought
Be
anything you ask for.
My dear, we understand. You may pray and meditate upon this. But we say unto all of you, don't lose your faith. We know it's difficult, but we are here with you. Do pray, do meditate upon all of it. Be of peace, soul. Be of service, soul. And we are with you every step of the way. Do not fear. We hear you, we acknowledge you, and we see you. Peace be with you.
Thank you.
Thank
Peace
you.
be with you, Nikki. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you for calling in. And again, sending you so much love and power for your prayers. And that hope be enlightened in you in the way that it really serves you beautifully. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you.
Renee, did you have some questions that were coming up for you, or something that was coming
Well,
up through?
I'm seeing a ton of questions, so I don't know which direction we want to go. There's one about understanding source a little better, which very exciting to go deep there.
Let the community ask a question if they choose.
Yes,
it is okay.
There's a lot here. Yes.
Should I take Claudia as a live caller while you find the next question?
Yeah, that was about understanding source a little bit
Oh,
better.
let's.
I don't know who had that one. I'm just kind of scrolling up to see if we've missed anything. Ooh, something in French. How fun. 'Cause we are going to be going to doing a retreat to France this year. So
Amazing.
Anthony and I are boning up on our French. So anyway, did you find a question that you think is?
Well, we have Claudia that raised her hand that I promoted to panelist. So Claudia,
cool.
why don't we get you to unmute? Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to Nikki for sharing her heartfelt story, first of all. And then thank you to you guys for giving me some time to ask a question. And my question is, when we are going through a tower moment and we can't see beyond ourselves and feel we don't have a purpose, how do we get past that?
I will tell you this. I am Yeshua, and I am here with you, Claudia. When you feel like you don't have a purpose, when you feel like there's nobody here listening to you, I say unto you these things. We are listening to you. Be in community with individuals who will support you and who will not let you down. And I say that to you as well, Nikki, and I say that to all of you. Be in community with others who support your path, who support you as a human being, and don't be afraid.
Staying in the field, it's kind of.
You say that, don't you, guys?
Well, it's because I feel like the people who the reason that I feel like some of the stuff that we do is so strong is because there's a resonance field that everyone's plugging into again
Yes.
and again. And so that really helps to activate you and figure out what's like in your heart and what's coming through your heart.
For all of you, find your communities and stay with them. And if they resonate with you in your heart, you are there.
And things will open.
And you will find your purpose.
Yeah.
but never give up.
It gets activated. It gets activated when you're in this field of resonance. It's the same with channeling. Like, you know, things just start opening up and you're getting clarity.
Yeah, I feel like I've done that. And
Well,
then,
continue.
Are you doing
Continue.
it from your heart though? Are you surrendering into it?
well, I'm trying to find my group of people. You know, I have a group of people now. I just feel like another group would be more supportive. And so I think I'm just having a challenging time finding that group of people.
Well, come into our group. We have an amazing community. Oh my goodness. Absolutely amazing community. Yeah, I think, you know, it's where you need to be listened and supported with no judgment and just be, you know, allow yourself to surrender without feeling any fear of what's going to emerge.
Yeah, I think that's been the catalyst is holding back, you know, so
Holding
that
back.
makes sense.
Yes.
Not allowing myself to be my authentic self.
Yeah.
1 second, please.
Mm,
Miriam comes.
freedom.
Mm.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of her. She's very strong. 1 second,
She
please.
really wants to empower women. So she's, you know, the Catherine with the book. I think it was Catherine with the book and Claudia with the, you know, getting, you know, she's gonna ignite you to keep moving forward and not stop.
Claudia, it is good to see you. I am Miriam of Magdala. Now listen to me, girlfriend. Stop. No more of your pity parties. You are woman.
Mm.
You are beautiful. You are strong. You are intelligent. Let's go. Let's do this together.
You've got work to do.
Be with me. Be with Yeshua. We are here for you. And I say that to all the women and to all the men. We are here for you. Don't back down. All the women,
yeah,
this is the time
this
now.
is our time to emerge and not hold back.
If you cannot find a community, then I will give you one. I am your community. I say to you this. I am here for you. I am here for all of you. And don't be afraid. We are here with you. Especially the women. I don't want you to be afraid.
Yeah,
I need you to rise and rise and rise.
This is our time to step into what we're here to do. And we all each have these unique gifts that we are here to give the world.
What Yeshua can't say, I can say for him. As I did before, I will say it again. It is not so much the male energy, but it is the female energy that brings it alive. We bring up the male. I need to bring you up right now and rise through you so that you can do the work and find your purpose. No more pity parties for any of you. It is what it is. We must become our true authentic selves. And I know it's difficult and we all suffer because of it. And I've suffered more than you can imagine, but I'm here to guide you now. And don't be afraid. Claudia, I am with you. I'm with you.
There's almost an urgency, you know, John knows, most of you probably don't know, but our book's coming out very soon on her life.
I have been waiting
on
for
her
it.
life, and there's an urgency in your book about stepping into your truth and your purpose. There
is an urgency.
There is an urgency.
Do not back down, any of you. You must continue this path. This is why you are here.
To move through the fear, because there's nothing to fear.
Move through it. It doesn't serve any of you.
I know. Look,
it only creates suffering.
We have communities like this now where we can support each other. That didn't always exist, but we have that now. So we can elevate, you know, I mean, we want to elevate men too. It's just fascinating. John, we've talked about this many times,
We
right?
want to balance the men.
Yeah, it's hard to
Elevate
get
the
men
women.
to show up. Our Mount Shasta retreat, we didn't have one man show up. We had
Wow.
lots of women show up, but not one man. And our retreat before, we only had one guy. So yeah, we need men to come to the conversation, but the women are getting out there. We're doing the work. So you have support because
You have me, you
Yeah.
have all of us to support you.
yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
think what's so
and
beautiful
have-
and so powerful, what's coming through, Claudia, and please, I want you to share in a second. But it's so powerful what you shared, Magda. It is what it is. It is what it is. And so much of our suffering is us wishing that it wasn't the way that it is, but it is
What it
what it
is,
is.
isn't it, John?
Mm.
We do with what we can, what we have, what we have given to ourselves. We don't need to suffer because of it.
And we're disentangling a consumeristic society that tells us that if we do this, then we will be this other thing that we're hoping to be, or that it will be what it's not. But y'all, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And how can we move past that fear when we feel that fear of moving towards what we project ourselves to be in the future?
Stop projecting and just be. Be in the field. Be with us. Think with your heart, Claudia, not with your mind. Feel with your heart. Think with your heart.
Because when you're in the heart space, think about it. Well, don't think about it. Feel it. When you're in your heart space, you can't go to fear. You can't. It's impossible to go to fear when you're in your heart because you're pure love. Everything you do is going to be of service. Everything's going to be of
Claudia,
service.
this is a practice. It is a spiritual practice. It is a spiritual practice of becoming you again.
Again.
And it's not easy.
And remembering you. Are you are you in California? Because we do these physical darshans. That would be really great.
Yes,
That would
I'm
be-
close to Sacramento.
Oh,
Close enough.
well, ping us and I'll let you know about our next darshan. I think that would be great for you, actually.
Okay, sounds great.
That would be, I mean, they're deep. I won't lie to you. They can go
I'm ready.
12 hours long.
I'm ready.
Good. I'm glad you're ready
Yeah.
because I'm ready for you, Claudia.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I think that
Thank
would.
you.
And Claudia, can I ask you to serve as a proxy for the rest of the audience? If I ask you a question,
Sure.
and hopefully Magda and Renee will help with this as well. Who do you need to become in order to be?
He's so good, isn't he?
I love your hesitation because that answers everything for me.
It doesn't answer it for me, though, John.
Ah,
I know it answers it for you.
mm.
Claudia, I need you to become spirit. I need you to become the higher self. There you will find the woman that you truly are in this lifetime.
Well, the other question is, what are you fearful of? What are you
Mhm.
afraid of?
She's afraid of becoming who she truly is in this
Right.
lifetime.
So in order for you to move into your spirit self, there's kind of a, they call it the dark night of the soul, but there's a death of the old
That is true.
spirit. And so it's normal and natural for us, or for the ego, to fear the death of the old, because that's our perceived identity. But the moment that we let go of that perception of our identity, of who we think we are, and we step into the soul self, the fear just goes away.
Yeah, and I've had a lot of those moments where I have mourned my past selves. Currently, my biggest fear is losing people in my life.
Claudia,
It's going to happen.
you're right, sister. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Mhm.
You will become someone new. And when you do that, you are going to attract attract other energies around you, and others will fade away.
But the new energies that come into your field, I can guarantee it, they will be there to support you.
That is the rising
That's the rising.
of who you are going to become.
It's going to be a magnet of light tenfold of what you are now.
And that is the shifting of
That's-
dimensions, as you call it.
Yeah. So the shifting, what's going to happen is the new energies are going to come into your field. And I don't want to say that you won't miss some of the old people or you won't mourn them, but it won't be what you think it will be. There will be a tenderness and a love to them that you will feel, that's an outpouring. You won't feel the mourning that you think you will feel. You'll feel a tenderness, a joy, and a love. Because your light will be like beaming out to them. I know, just kidding.
That is good, Gaia.
Exciting. Well, that's what happens.
Anthony, and also to John.
Thank you so much. One
Thank
question
you.
while we have Claudia here, and Claudia, thank you for, again, being so open-hearted and again, being a proxy for so many of us. So, okay, the becoming of me, but if I only get rid of this financial stress, or if only my relationship gets better with my parents or with my partner, but if my boss doesn't treat me the same way, if only I find my purpose, then I can finally feel that maybe something can shift.
If only, then, no.
Because you're not in the present moment when
No.
you're in if only.
Present
Mm.
moment, now. Those problems will always exist. It's not about the problem, all of you. It is how you perceive it. It is your perspective upon the problem, and how are you going to deal with it? When you become the new you, dealings with these problems are easier,
Mm.
facilitated more, without so much strife, suffering. You simply just know how to do it. But they still exist.
And we all know people who are so-called suffering from cancer, from other, ailments, who don't perceive that they're suffering, who don't perceive that they're in a place of trauma, because their perception is different.
Mhm.
We just lost a dear friend, and we were at his bedside, kind of energizing him in the final hours so he could be with his family. It was very powerful. I probably shouldn't go there. It's a little too raw, just in
Yes.
case anyone in our community is listening, but because his spirit did come through and connect with us. Might table that though, but the message was powerful.
Claudia, thank you so much for your call.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for having
it's
me.
wonderful to have you here.
Thanks.
I'm expecting to see you soon, Claudia.
Yes. Thank you very much. You
What
will.
a beautiful invitation. I would say yes to that one.
We
if it were me.
might come to Hawaii before France, John.
Amazing.
I'm getting downloads to maybe do a retreat in Hawaii before we go to France.
Well, you're welcome at this sanctuary always. We have space for you. That's another conversation. And oh my goodness, y'all, the special offer link for the live workshop, for your choice of one of the memberships, for the meditations, for the series of luminaries that Renee has been interviewing, all that's $111 is a 2-payment option. What a beautiful way to go deeper into this resonance of remembering.
And the membership's
embodying.
live, by the way. It's not recorded replays.
Mm.
It's important to know that those are live sessions.
Yeah, so beautiful. You all take advantage of it. Again, the link's in the chat box. Click on it. If you don't have the time to read it through and you want to, click on it now and keep the tab open. If you're watching on the replay, look on the comment section of the video and you'll find the link there. Magda, is there anything that you'd like to share with us before we end this evening's call?
Oh, Magdalene. The one thing I just do want to address quickly before, and is Donna's message, because we get this question all the time. Just asking, does it matter if we can identify who they are when the guides are coming in? And attunement healing, as long as we are open and grateful to receive. I think that just, I mean, that hits it right on the nail, or whatever that old-fashioned saying is, the nail on the head. Grateful to receive and deliver the message. Gratitude, absolutely. Intention, absolutely. Open heart, absolutely. Those are the three key ingredients. And initially, you may not know who they are, and that's okay. That's okay. You trust how you feel in your heart when they're coming through.
Yes. Well said, Gaia.
Well, you know, it's sometimes people will say, they used to say in the beginning, well, how do we know who they are? And it's like, well, are you lit up, expanded of light and love and feel more energy after they come through? Are you feeling exhausted? And, you know, if you're feeling exhausted and zapped and it doesn't feel good, then there's your answer.
That is true. Now, my parting words.
Your parting words. Did you like you liked the scarf he chose tonight?
I do like the scarf. I like making him look beautiful. I want to make all of you feel beautiful, look beautiful, be strong, and be courageous. I want to put life in all of you again, to know who you are. I want all of the women to rise. I want all of the men to feel me, to feel the divine feminine in them and not be afraid. I want all of you to let go of your fear. I want all of you to let go of the perceptions of who you think you are in this lifetime. Let it go. It doesn't serve any of you. Stop suffering. You don't need it. Be in love with you, and you will find the purpose of who you are in this lifetime. There's no need to suffer. Find your purpose through your heart. Stay in community with those who are going to support you, especially women. We need it.
We need each other.
We need each other, and we need people like John Burgos to continue doing this. We can't do this without you, John. It is important. John, you're a very feminine male, and I like that.
Very
I
balanced.
like it too. Yes,
Very
thank you.
well balanced.
Very well balanced.
Thank you.
That is my message to all of you.
Well, and remember too, I'll add that it's a choice in every single moment, whether we stay small or we shine our lights out to the world and step into our purpose with love and conviction and service and gratitude. It's a choice in every moment. Just make the choice of love and all the clarity will come. The channeling will come. The book will come. All of it will just come. Step into that place of gratitude and love and make that choice.
Beautiful.
Or you can just sit on the couch and watch TV. That is another choice. And watch your life go by. You understand. Spiritual path is not easy,
That's not in the book.
but it's a beautiful one of becoming, of being reborn again, of who you are in this lifetime.
And by the way, since I never plugged the book and we're getting so close.
Do plug me, Gaia.
Well, I just want to say, go to bluesoulearth.com and we're going to be posting things on our books page because things are going to start coming fairly soon. It needs to be out before our retreat this year. So if you want to know when the book's going to be out and all of that, just go there because we don't have I'm not announcing the landing page for the book yet. It's not quite ready.
And we'll promote it on Beyond the Ordinary as well. You'll receive an email or two from us also.
Yeah, no, that would be
sure.
awesome. That would be awesome. It's coming. It's getting closer, John. I know we've talked about this for a couple of years, but it's almost there, right?
Waiting for
I
a long
know
time.
you've been waiting.
It is always an honor and privilege to be with you, John, and with all of the souls that are here. They're here for a reason, you know. Good.
It is my honor as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Taylor?
And we'd love to say goodnight to Anthony as well. It would be remiss if we didn't. Magda, thank you. Until the next time.
Until the next time.
And so many beautiful comments coming in. Thank you. I'm not afraid. I am energized and inspired and embracing each moment. My mind quiets and higher self and more always there. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Donna Marie.
We hope to see you in our community. We hope to see you. We hope to meet
Anthony, welcome back.
you. Want to come back?
No.
No.
No? Oh,
I
okay.
haven't come back yet.
Oh, are you? I guess I'm having dinner with her tonight. How
We have
exciting.
something to talk about, don't we?
We do? Okay. I guess.
Beautiful. Well, blessings to all of you. Give my love to Anthony later. Magda, thank you so much. Thank you for the empowering messages. And it is what it is. But love
Great
is.
to meet all of you.
Mm.
We love
All
you.
right. Love you too. Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here and look forward to seeing you on the next call.
Stay there.
Bye-bye.